Yeah.
I was in the introduction, but you were out of the room, so I was just kind of thinking of, So I heard the
This last one was about
62 to 14 against
what we do before.
I heard that we're really needing a football program, which I've been trying to tell for a long time.
Yeah.
We need to bring middle school football back to North America.
Yeah, I've been talking
Pretty much
with,
put to sleep all the,
over a year now.
I heard Sheldon retired from principal,
No,
and you turn
or is he still there?
he shifted over to the. I always get this.
Yeah.
So Vicky has plans, they want to hang up photos of the city. The entry. So I'm going to take this.
Who's the regular principal
Get
now?
some high-res scans.
Doing vice principal slash athletic
Yeah, this was.
That's where it
Yes,
started.
yes.
So it should be fine, but I will.
Because I just
Who owns the copyright to the book?
She was the one, that was created before I got here and they were selling the books and she uploaded it back down.
Yes, they already gave us pre-production permissions for that. No, it's a good question, but the other person I'm reaching out to next year, he's got a lot. So I'm gonna see if I can store those. I bought a high-res scanner many years ago. And it just sits there for like it does.
So we need to.
It was super cool, but it would fill up a hard drive so
We got a whole bunch of football.
and it would take forever to process the image and bring it back up. This was many years ago. So it's that hard.
I got nice weekend.
Yeah.
You'll have to talk to Cypress about it, like.
So Counselor Young, you want to join us tonight? Doing well.
Okay.
Counselor Thomas can't join us tonight as well.
We got the three amigos tonight.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie. What's that?
I'll be doing Louis.
So got the Jackson, the Jackson 5.
I just can't believe it's October. No, September.
Don't rush it.
No, plenty to do in the next 3 weeks.
We're doing a siding project at my son's house where they're tearing out the side of the house and putting up new sheeting, and we've been tracking the weather.
Oh, yeah.
Like, wow,
A lot of work.
tell me about it. My body says it's too much work.
How many saw blades you going through?
Huh?
How many saw blades you going through to get the?
We went through multiple until we got the Hardy front blade.
Mhm.
Then it's a little bit better. Yeah. At 120.
Yeah. They last. but they're
They
not-
last, but they're not cheap. And I had an existing one that I threw on my skill saw. That's
Oh, my God.
so much dust.
Mhm.
All right, I have 7 o'clock, so why don't we go ahead and do the flag salute? Call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, everyone, welcome to our September 22 City Council meeting. Before we move on, is there any consent agenda topics that council would like to pull out for regular discussion? Councilor Prinsloo,
I have none.
Councilor Rogers? Okay, I do have one request for council though. Agenda number topic 7, continued discussion regarding compensation for non-represented employees. This is one we started discussion on last time. Vicky did provide some great charts, some financial impact statements, et cetera. But I would like to postpone that discussion until Councilor Donnelly and Councilor Thomas can be here for that as well. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to move that up, but we'll continue to move forward to make sure, and Vicky, you can check me when we go through this to make sure we do get the one table approved that allows for the office assistance hire.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so with that, we will go ahead. Nothing changes on consent agenda at this point in time. Let's start off with number 2. And Rocky, just so you know, there is a discussion topic number 5, where we're going to be talking about the Harvest Festival.
Okay.
Okay. So with that, appearance of interested citizens, looks like no one is online.
Do we say
Yeah, you go up there and tell me your address and then who you're with.
And while they're coming up real quick, so Councilor Rogers, just so you know, they're having a hard time how long they're carrying you. So we tried to move the mic a little bit for you.
Hearing me.
Yeah, now they hear you.
I am Hannah Mack. This is Kira Barber. We are representing North Marion High School, and our address is regarding homecoming, specifically. We are just going based off of the high school address of 20167 Grimmon Road.
Yeah,
We're gonna go with it.
that's fine. Works.
And just the address or the business?
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. I just.
This is the high school.
We are the high school. Yeah, representative of the high school.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you guys for showing up, and looking forward to seeing how the cooperation kind of goes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So my name,
Discussion.
my name's Rocky Sherwood. I live at 2622 Nina Place. What they're trying to do is they're trying to do a homecoming parade on Friday, on the 15th, and they're wanting to come through parts of Hubbard. So the reason why they came here tonight to see if there's any way that we could get any kind of chaperone through parts of Hubbard for their parade on Friday. You know, which I told them that Officer Chief Rash told me Saturday, and we had that discussion today about how we have to do things as not as an organized thing, but I didn't know, since it's on a Friday and it's for the school and it's for a new thing for as far as the prom thing, if the city can offer any kind of escorts for them to do the parade through parts of Hubbard. And that's why they came here tonight. to
Right,
ask.
so I could probably address that anyhow now without even really delaying too much. Sergeant Anderson, you can correct me. From what I understand from Police Chief Rash as well, is we don't have the police personnel to be able to do traffic control. At least the staffing required for it. We will have police presence within the city, obviously, but we just don't have enough to be able to handle the parade. Rocky, I think I talked to you earlier about this as well. My suggestion at this point in time, at least, we can't do an organized parade like you were hoping. My suggestion is to see if you guys can do like a spooky drive or something like that, where you just basically follow the regular traffic laws, etc. I don't think floats would be usable. I don't know, I'd have to defer over to the police department on what they would see as, you know, acceptable that isn't necessarily a float or something that would be requiring some sort of traffic control or slower down traffic.
Yeah, if I could just weigh in on that. So we just don't have the resources to provide the necessary traffic control, and any kind of a organized event like that that's going to disrupt the normal flow of traffic is going to be prohibited. It's just not possible. So as Mayor Russell said, if you guys are able to just drive with the flow of traffic and not impede traffic and create issues or congestion problems, that's a different story. But for us to be involved in something that's controlling traffic, and we just don't have the manpower for it, and it's just something we wouldn't be able to assist with at this time.
My other concern, this instance is on item number 5 about the Harvest Festival. This is totally different. As you guys know, Barnsley's been an adopted baby of mine. The last couple of years, we've been doing events there. We've been teaming up with the Barnsley family to get donations, and they donated money for the backstop, which is really lovely. My question is, do we have any kind of surveillance videos that can go out to the ball fields? Because we had some glass broken over our new backstops, and we had some vandalizing going on to some of the picnic table benches over there. And we really could use some cleanup in certain areas. So I'm working on trying to do that Harvest Festival this year. And when I'm reaching out to all the community members, we just picked up a little Tino band tonight. So we're gonna have them play 2 to 5. so I'm excited about that. So, use these events to recruit for community cleanups, so I'm hoping that we can get a lot of go-getters. We've been getting messages daily about people wanting to volunteer and help. We teamed up with Hubbard Inn, they're big time community supporters of ours now, and they want to do more to help out our community, so I'm excited about that. But guys, seriously, we just got done putting a lot of money into the Barnsley Park backstops, and it really concerns me to see broken glass all over our new structure and what's gonna be next, and with some of the bleachers all dented up and dinged up. If we can get some kind of surveillance out there to kind of watch over our new fixtures so they don't get run down and dinged up and damaged, because the Barnsley, they put a lot of money in that place and they don't have their older people, and we got a legacy. I'm trying to carry on for Albert's name. I know he's been dead for a long time, but that park's very precious to me, and if we can get some kind of surveillance over there to kind of watch the park to catch these guys that's vandalizing, especially breaking bottles on a brand new backstop, so.
I will have to defer to the police department and public works, see what we can do.
So to answer your question, that is something we might be able to look into, but I can't really share what we can do in an open forum like this or something like that.
I can visit with you later.
But what we can do is we increase patrols when we have an issue we know about in the
Okay.
park. We frequently go through there, we do foot patrols, we're there frequently in the evening. And so if there's an issue, we can address it by being there more often, more frequently.
Yeah, I just noticed it today, and I know you do a good job patrolling, you care about the city, and the patrols are great around here. We have less crime in this community because of you guys, because you work your butts off for us. That's why we don't have that much crime. We got good, council. That's why I wanted to bring the issues up, because I noticed it today. And it was city council night, so that's all I got.
That's fine.
Besides, that's chapter 5 when we get to that point. So.
Yeah, thank you.
I was gonna add just one thing, Rocky, to your question about what Public Works maybe can do to help too. So I do have budgeted for this fiscal year, replacement security cameras for both Barnsley and Rivinus.
Nice.
And I can't say for sure 100%, but they're gonna be much more able to potentially capture things besides just right there in front of the restroom. So it's possible one of the cameras might be able to capture at least the backstop area and the parking lot area. So that's a possibility.
Thank you so much for that. That eases my heart a little bit, because we want to have a nice clean area for our kids and their families. And we want to try to keep the crime down low like what they're doing already. You guys done a great job. I'm just pointing out stuff that I noticed. And I noticed that today, so.
Okay, so with that, we also have 2 additional joins. Is there any additional public comment? Ron or Ellen?
Not for me.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that if you joined, that we had the opportunity to let you speak. Okay, if there's nothing else on the interested citizen, go
I
ahead.
got a question. Is there 2 different things here?
And what?
Is it the parade on Saturday that we were talking about and a homecoming parade, or is it the same thing?
They were hoping to piggyback, I believe, is what they were going to pull.
So you didn't want to do a homecoming parade on Friday night, and then the Harvest Fest is on Saturday.
Correct.
It'd be all on Saturday.
So the homecoming parade would have just involved the school. So it would have just been class floats competing against each other with support.
On a Saturday or Friday,
The Friday,
before the football game.
yes,
And then,
What month is that?
of October.
Okay.
It would have been the 14th of October.
Okay,
and then next to that is what we're gonna discuss on,
That would be the Harvest Festival.
which is a separate parade.
Right.
A parade.
But my assumption would be, we're still not resourced to be able to handle any parades during
That's
pretty
right.
much that week.
Friday or
But if we could figure out some sort of a drive or something like that,
Yeah.
that's more than something we should try to do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Irish. Okay. Let's go ahead. Do we have any mayors and or council presentations? Councilor Brinslow?
I do not.
Councilor Irish? Okay. We've had something, but if it's important, I can bring it up in other business if I remember. Okay, with that, we'll start off with the staff reports, and we'll start off with Sergeant Anderson from the police department.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor, members of the council, I'm here sitting in for Chief Rashes of training You've got a copy of the chief's report. One of the things that didn't make it on this report because it happened last minute was an incident that Officer Bentley got involved with on the 31st, where he made contact with some people at Marisco Morales parking lot after hours. One thing led to another. He was able to make a couple of arrests and seize a large quantity of psilocybin mushrooms, methamphetamine, and a small amount of cocaine. Just on a contact, it was self-initiated, which is our bread and butter here. And good police work. So that didn't make it in there, but Officer Billy did a great job on that one. Officer Davis responded to a vehicle fire on Rivermitten Drive in August on the 27th, and he was able to assist using his fire extinguisher and was kept the fire from spreading to a residence there and did a great job on that. There is, if you look down on the personal service agreement with Woodburn Ambulance, we're waiting to hear back from them regarding that service. And just in a nutshell, it means that we have exigency when it comes to DUI blood draws. We're in kind of a time pinch. This allows us to contact Woodburn Ambulance and have them come to Woodburn Police Department where we're processing your DUIs and do a blood draw on site in a pretty timely fashion. If it's prearranged, which is our hope, we can have all that on, everything signed up, ready to go, an agreement set, so that we can make it happen without having to take someone to the hospital, and that just takes an awful lot of time.
How does reimbursement work on that? I mean, do we put the bill for that blood draw, or is it reimbursed after they're finally guilty or something?
That's a good question. So I think there's a couple provisions. One of them is that the Department of Transportation has a program set up that is not yet in operational. They're setting it up now, and it will allow for reimbursement for that cost. And at this point, it's $225 per draw. There's a fund, a police fund, that I believe now, if we were to do that, would pay part of, or maybe all of that. We had maybe one or two last year, so it's not frequent, but we need it. We need to have it in place, so when we do need it, we've got it. We go. So that's coming. You can see that Chief Rash was successful in getting a huge score on these tasers.
Yeah.
And I mean, that saved the city a tremendous amount of money, and it is just a huge win for us and much needed equipment for our officers. And that was a great event for us. And just going down through community outreach, our guys were incredibly busy with doing the bike rodeo with Hubbard Fire Department, back to school at North Marion. We're doing Coffee of the Cop here in October. Officer Davis went to the defensive tactics instructor training. Heard some really good feedback on that one. And then, of course, Chief Rash went to the CIS Insurance Management Conference at Salem. And Officer Allman went to the DOT Traffic Conference in Bend on the 29th and 30th of August. Not a lot more to share. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Councilor Roberts?
Nobody seriously injured in the last big incident between.
I'm sorry?
No one seriously injured in the last big incident?
Yeah, I mean, it could have been worse. So everyone involved in that will survive, it looks like. And so, yes, to answer your question.
Thank you.
Councilor Prinzel?
No, I have no questions. Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you, Sergeant. I don't have any. Just great win on both the equipment, the tasers and the helmets. I was wondering if you guys are going to do baton training or something on your helmets.
Eventually, yeah, we'll invite you.
Oh, thank you. There you go. Okay. We have no more comments then for that. Let's move on to, we don't have anyone from the fire district here tonight. So we'll move straight on to administrative department and Vicki. Sorry, Director Noel.
You have my report in front of you. The first item is in regard to item number 5 that you're going to discuss later. So there's just some information there for you. Elections, Charles Ross is still mayor, and Joseph Feinger and Jim Donnelly for council positions. Planning Commission, we are Subdivision is scheduled for the continued public hearing at this next Tuesday's planning commission meeting. And I do have an addition here. We did get an application for a planning commissioner, but they got their application in a little too late to make this agenda. So I have it scheduled for the October city council meeting for you to appoint this person.
By curiosity, is an actual resident or?
Yes.
Okay.
Patrick Morel. It's a lot of name. City Hall update, I kind of wanted to jump over to that. We had a little issue with our electrical box, our electrical panel.
Very glad we saw the city hall.
Yes. That was in the tune of about $1,300 for, fixing of that. And prior to this incident, we had an issue with the sewer line. And it was plugged up and we had to have someone come out and fix it. And that was, I'll let Mike go into details about that, but that was $988 to fix that. And they made recommendations for in the future to install a clean out. And the total amount on their recommendation, which means something that we might want to budget for, is about $10,000.
For a clean out?
Yeah.
Or I'm assuming they're probably replacing the entire.
Piping, like I said, I'll let Mike go into detail about that since he was the person that got to deal with all of that. And his recommendation, if I may.
Yeah, you may.
At this time was to go ahead and just fix the, take out the guts that are in the toilet and put in a different flushing type mechanism. And then, that's kind of a temporary fix, but it is something that we may want to consider to budget for to do a entire replacement. And I'll let Mike go ahead and go into detail on all of that.
Okay, on that city hall type work that we're talking about there, whether it's electrical or plumbing, I've also noticed, I've mentioned it to you and Julie a few times, is that mold on the window when you come in.
Yeah.
Is that something that could also be thrown on an agenda to be replaced for? Can't be.
Yeah, the windows, in my opinion, the electrical, I think, is pretty much done. What the problem was the main bus in the electrical panel was arcing. It was old and the breakers were old. That's all been replaced. The wires that I've noticed throughout the building have been replaced over the years, so they're in pretty good condition. So I think at this point, I can say reasonably effectively that the electrical is okay. The windows, however, when we're doing the painting on the outside, they need to be replaced because a lot of the window panes in these old windows, the molding around it has rotted out. We're constantly having to patch it with putty to keep it weather-proof. So of the things that need to be done right now, I would say number one would be to replace the windows. The sewer, what they told me, well, I actually saw a film on it, is that most of the plumbing underneath the building has been replaced as the building had been remodeled. So let's say back in 98 to say 2003.
So they got ABS piping.
Right, they got ABS. Until you get out to the point where it goes into the sewer. The line that runs into the sewer is old ductile iron. And it's from the looks of it, it's the original piece they put in when they put the plumbing into this building. So say it's 100 years old. What happens over time with ductile iron pipe is the acids in the waste, gases or whatever, tend to pit the pipe out. So you get a slick shot around the corner to where it goes in, and then it hits on that rough pipe and it sits. Now, Vicky explained that they're asking $10,000 to do the work on it. I think at this point, we need to replace one toilet, with a 5-gallon flush toilet, because in my opinion, one of the things you get with these low flush toilets is you don't get enough water to carry the solids out through the pipes. And especially if you've got a bad spot in your pipe, you don't have enough pressure to carry those solids, and what they do is they hang out there. And I think that's what our problem is. So what I'm suggesting is take the officer's toilet in the back, which is a 1-gallon, what they call pressure flush, and change it with an old school 5-gallon flush. So every time they flush it, you get that 5 gallons of water down there, that's enough fluid and pressure to carry those solids into the sewer system. I think that'll hold off having to replace that for several years.
I'd save the city 10 grand for.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but I didn't see it as a point on that pipe that it's something that we need to be looking at right now. As Vic, as the director of administration said, we need to probably budget for that. But I think in the short term, I think the 5-gallon flush will take care of it sufficiently.
And we have sufficient funds for that. I mean, that's a simple.
Yeah. All I have to do is buy the gut, take one of those apart, buy the gut sport, and modify what we've already got.
Anything else on the city hall update before we let you continue?
I don't have anything further on the city hall update.
All right. Thank you for the input, though. Thank you for the insight as well.
The goal setting I wanted to ask the council. Last year, October, you guys did goal setting. Do you want to schedule another meeting, or do you want to wait until the first of the year?
I would say my suggestion is wait till the first of the year. We just literally re-ratified maybe 5 months ago, 6 months ago, the goals. It just seems like we haven't had much time on it. So I would suggest wait until the beginning of the next year, unless council disagrees. Councilor Renslow or Rogers, do you guys disagree? Okay. Also, if I look at our city calendar, right, we've got quite a few meetings coming up already in September. And then October is coming around, and my assumption would be we do the reviews in October. We should try to do the reviews in October, and that's already going to add on at least a long evening council session.
Well, that was my next thing was, did you want me to start to schedule the department head reviews then in October?
I don't see any reason why we shouldn't wait. Do you guys have any different opinion? I would like to see if we get back on our normal pace.
Stay on
Yeah.
track.
My assumption is it'd be great if we can do the latter part of October.
Correct.
Yeah. When it's rainy and stormy outside, spooky cars are driving around town.
I don't have anything further to add to my report unless you have questions.
Councilor Rogers, any questions? Councilor Prinzel?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we will move on to Public Works and Superintendent Grimes.
Well, you've got my report in front of you. A couple of things that came up since this was sent out. Item 2, the training. I did sign up for a class with the University of Wisconsin that primarily focuses on management in the public works setting. One of the things I found out when the director of that program called me back is that because COVID is over, they're doing a lot of their trainings for this in-house. And I told him that that wasn't gonna work for me to fly to Madison, Wisconsin for 9 of these trainings. So I talked to him, and he basically told me that the University of Iowa does the same thing, but it's more of a online type of a situation to where at your own pace, you're able to pull up the videos of the instructor doing the lecture, and you can watch them at your own time. And that's kind of what I was thinking from what I saw on their website. But because of COVID, they've gone back to teaching in person. But University of Iowa is still doing it this way. So I've got the information for them. I'm going to do some looking into that and see if we can get something started with that. But we're on track to get it done. The other one I came across was the certified public works professional management course, offered by American Public Works Association. And this is, kind of the Cadillac of the management, the public work management classes. The only thing with this one is it's gonna take 18 months to get through. So kind of what I would like to do, and I'm asking kind of permission here, is to take this one because I can get it done before December, and then also apply for this one and spend the next 18 months getting it.
I think the one you've selected, either is it gonna be Wisconsin or is it gonna be Iowa?
It's gonna be Iowa.
Okay, I think this is a fine one, and we'll get you the training we've been looking for you to get anyhow. Any council or disagreement on that one?
No,
Okay,
I do have a question.
go ahead.
The 18-month program, what's the time commitment on your part? Estimate. What do they say it's gonna take?
Uh,
A day, a month, weekend, a month?
I think it's just, I'll have to relook at that again. But yeah, it says here time, they give you about 30 different, things that you have to touch on. And you do that at your own speed, and then they give you a skills test at the end of it. And this says that, you've got up to 2 years to take, to be able to sit for the exam.
So I guess follow-up question then still is, how much do you think it's gonna take on your time?
Well, I think
Yeah.
one of those things, I would say probably 500 hours maybe.
Over 2 years?
Yeah,
And are you gonna be able to fit that into your work schedule?
yeah, I'll do a lot of that on my own time because it's something I'm interested in doing.
Well, that may be, but it's still work related. So
Yeah,
You wanna
yes.
make sure that you have the opportunity to complete that at work, if you choose to do that. But I think you asked the question, if you could apply for both,
Right,
and I personally would be in favor of that. Because I think that the more training that you can get as a supervisor of your department would only make you better, it's more valuable to the city.
I agree. Yeah.
okay.
I'm actually excited to see Belinda also has some training lined up.
You want to talk about that?
Pretty much in the report.
Okay.
Unless you have questions. I'm excited about it, actually.
The other thing that I wanted to tell you about that I don't think got in here is that we are still working towards the sidewalk going over G Street. We're getting to the part of the year now that we won't be able to get that done until spring, but we're still dealing with the lawyers and the railroad, so we're still kicking it back and forth. So hopefully by March or April, we will be ready to pour some concrete.
Good. So the idea then is obviously the rainy season's right around the corner.
Right,
So would we be shovel ready then in April is what you're shooting
we're
for?
hoping
Or
for,
as soon as the weather is permitting?
yes. But then again, also, we're dealing with the railroad, and I thought government moves slow.
You zip goes slower. Question for you, just to make sure I'm aware. Now, we're talking about coming up from our finished sidewalk part up to the tracks on one side, and then on the other side too, from the tracks down to the other sidewalk?
Yes,
Okay, so it'll be a full,
yes, we're talking about 100 feet.
it'll be nice when it's done.
Yeah,
Having a second ADA accessible crossing on that railroad would be good.
and as much work as it has taken, I think I'll probably throw a party out there for listening and an official opening. Yeah, a ribbon cutting.
So speaking on Union Pacific real quick, did we ever, last year we had a request for them to come along and trim the overgrown bushes, et cetera, along the tracks. Obviously, we never did. Are they going to be able to get back out and do that this year before we just see that continue to grow with the fire risk next year?
I did reach back out to them, and I apologize, I am not having a lot of luck getting a response back. The person that was my original contact last year stopped working for Union Pacific, and now it's trying to find somebody else who will be responsive and actually let me know when they can come out. Last year, they came out, we had gotten as far as I had an aerial that was marked out, you know, from the north to south city limits, all along both sides of the tracks that was supposed to be completed. He sent, the project manager at the time sent out a crew. All they did was the easy part between D and A, I believe it was, and then slightly on A north, but they didn't do any of the tough stuff, which is really what needed to be done more critically. So I'm still in the process of trying to get somebody to commit to come out and do that.
I do appreciate that. I didn't even think about it until, what was it, on Monday or Saturday, whatever it was, when we had the red skies again because of the smoke coming in. Maybe it was Saturday morning. It's like, oh, this is a bad memory.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and continue on.
Splash Fountain, gave up the ghost, Saturday before Labor Day. And I did what I could to try to reroute electrical and that sort of stuff, but I had absolutely no luck. And I made the decision at that point, because we were gonna shut it down that following Tuesday, that it wasn't worth pulling in the crew for overtime hours on, so it was just decided to be shut down. So we've got the parts that we need to fix it, and we'll make sure that it's up and running without the problems we had this year before we even started up in May.
Now, the motor that's in there now, the pump that's in there now, are you gonna be able to pull that out and send it off to be rebuilt?
Yes.
So then we will have a spare pump at any time in the future.
Question for you on the splash fountain. You realize that the pump was not going to be fixed. Did any word get put out to the public as to the fact that we had to close it early and the reason behind it?
I was not able to do that because it was on a weekend, and at that point on a holiday weekend, it's kind of hard to get a hold of somebody that can make that adjustment to Facebook. I don't have the ability to do that myself.
Okay.
And I believe Vicky was camping.
Yeah, we're having issues with Facebook, and we're gonna have to redo it. They went into this made a business site thing, and we're having difficulties.
So it's all screwy. It's all screwy. I'll just say that.
Pretty messed up.
Follow-up question. Did we have a crew working on the weekend, regular time at all?
Yeah,
After you
it was
determined
just
that?
me.
Was there any opportunity to post a notice on any of the city bulletin boards, you know, fountain closed due to maintenance issues, something like that?
I did not even consider that.
And the reason I'm asking is because I had heard from various people that weekend that they were slightly upset that the fountain was closed for one, and they thought the city intentionally shut it down versus, yeah, which we did, but we did it for a particular and justifiable reason, in my opinion. And I think it would be good for the city in the future if we made that effort. And even if no one reads the note or, you know, reads the Facebook post, we did everything that we could at the time. I get that you don't have access to some things that other city management has, perhaps, as far as public outreach. But I think it's important that we do what we can. And so it'd be my opinion that in the future, even just a nice little note, you know, printed out, hey, you know, fountain closed due to a maintenance issue, you know, we apologize, something like that. If you have any questions, call Monday or Tuesday after the holiday.
Yeah, I could have put something up on the side of the building. We at one point had a A-frame billboard type thing that said fountain down for maintenance or something to that effect, and that lasted about 4 months and somebody stole it.
Well, I mean, we have, it's my understanding, we have other places that city residents can view that we were going to use in case of an emergency in the future. I would think this would be a good prep towards that, to get the residents used to looking in certain billboards throughout the city with, you know, postings of unexpected issues.
Okay, so
Just my 2 cents worth. Obviously, I don't
I'll
speak
make
for
sure
the
that
council.
happens next time.
No, but I did hear comments, quite a few, about what was about that.
Mhm.
Also, in the future, if you need to, you can also send me a text message. I will post something as well.
Okay,
I'm assuming pretty much any of the counselors could, but we would
Yeah,
all
we
be
can
more than
easily
happy
do
to
that.
post something for that.
But I do know, Vicky, yes, the Facebook business saying they screwed it all up. All right. Go ahead, Council Rogers.
So on item 5, what I'm looking for is council direction on whether or not you are interested in pursuing the potential of receiving a low interest loan, which a portion of which would be forgivable up to 250,000 of that. And then when I had the meeting with the state, Business Oregon, at that time, the interest rate was, which was just the beginning of the month, was 2.39%. We wouldn't be committing yet to actually accepting a loan. What that does is it just allows the loan process to still be potential for funding for the phase 1B of the water improvements project. And, or if council decides that you don't want to have a loan period, that you just want us to move along with whatever city funds and savings that we have and do what we can with that, then that's an option too. But at that point, I would notify the state that we are not interested in a low interest loan for this project, and they'll bump us from the list and move other projects up, so.
I feel it's a good option that we need to keep open.
I would agree. I think that we need to keep at least the option.
So I will.
Completely and utterly agree. I think it would be shooting us ourselves in the foot. If we find that the cost is exceeding what we currently have budgeted, then we have to go out for a regular rate loan. Interest rates are going up pretty high right now.
So I'll notify them, and within 30 days of my meeting with her is my due date for notifying them that we do want to proceed, so I'll make sure that happens.
Perfect. And I think Council Aldridge had a question back up on number 4.
Well, no, just in general.
Okay, go ahead.
And I apologize, I've been meaning to email you guys and I haven't had a chance. I don't like to just throw it out there. When you have an opportunity to look at that walkway between A and B, where 8th Street would be,
Okay,
and there's that asphalted walkway that kind of jogs. There are 2 giant fir trees. I had somebody tell me that there's some broken branches up there and they just don't think anybody cares. And I said, well, we can definitely look at it, maybe see if it's something that we need to address or have the homeowner address. But if you could take a look at that, that'd be great.
Yes,
That does
absolutely.
go underneath that walkway, that's the
Yeah.
city's walkway.
Perfect, thank you for that insight.
Thank you.
If I could just chime in on that while we're talking about it. So that walkway, the way that it's designed is kind of wonky. So a lot of people don't realize that's a public walkway because it goes towards a private property and then makes a turn and comes back by those trees that James or Councilor Arch was talking about. And so maybe cleaning that or putting maybe some markings or something so that people understand that is a public right of way. Because I don't think, I see very few people utilize that because it looks like it's private.
it looks like it's part of that guy's
It
driveway.
does, it does.
I haven't used it for that exact reason.
Yeah.
And I walk there all the time.
Yeah, it's a little spooky. So, yeah, maybe, I'm just thinking maybe just lining it. If nothing else, just lining it so that it shows this is a pathway that is, you know, the city maintains it. That would let people know that it's available for their use and it doesn't go around.
And another thought too is there any lighting that we might be able to put up? I know the one that goes from Nina Place, was it to Mill Creek?
Yes.
That has lights and they're very bright and my wife and I have no problem walking that day or night. So that might be an option for, the particular one between A and B Street.
We can look into it and get your quote.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not gonna be cheap, but more free, but, just an option, just a
Okay.
thought.
And if you can let the neighbors around there just kind of know what you're doing, I think they'd feel so much better than somebody cares.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Anything else, Councilor? Councilor Brennan?
No, I'm good, thank you.
I did want to just publicly comment, thank you for continuing to update this. I think
Yes.
this is a great
Very informative.
representation of the amount of work you guys are juggling. And I understand it's only 70% of what you guys are doing, so you're still pulling it out. So, thank you. If there is no other questions for Public Works,
Did a couple of those crosswalk flags walk away?
Yes.
I think they did. I noticed that the other day. Looks like we're down to 2, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are enjoying them or.
I found a couple of them shredded up Fifth Street, so.
You know, if you're pulling a skier.
Yeah.
Sit down, athletics, you gotta skier down.
I think that was a nice, I don't know if we need to replace them. I don't know if anyone's actually ever used them. Have you guys ever seen anyone actually use them?
I have.
Have you? Good. Is it good? So they are being used then, besides being stolen and shredded down the street?
Because sometimes you go through them, they're all on one side, and other times they're all on the other. So
Okay.
somebody's taking time to move them.
Good, okay. My concern was, I don't know if anyone's ever used them, so. If people are using them, then that means it's,
It is an option if somebody, jaywalks or whatever, they could say, look, they're crosswalk with flags.
Sergeant Anderson can mention that if they get hit, hey, there is a crosswalk.
I don't know if I go down that path.
Okay, I'm sorry for my cue. Let's move on, if it's okay. Any additional follow-up questions for Public Works?
I have a question about I think in a few meetings ago, the council had mentioned about the sidewalks and having
gaps.
notice sent out, and I don't know, I was wondering if that had happened on the repair of sidewalks, that the notice was supposed to be sent out to all property owners that had issues with their sidewalks.
That is still a pending project. It's one that hasn't made it onto the master list yet. We are still working towards that. It's not complete yet. The one, initial one that kind of initiated that conversation, that notice had gone out. They didn't ever respond to it, pick it up. It got returned back to sender, back to us. And so we're moving forward with the legal part of it, of actually, doing the repairs ourselves and placing a lien.
Out of curiosity, did anyone just stop and knock on the door?
One of the first things that we were gonna do was we talked about putting up door hangers, to see if that would, trigger some sort of a response. But it's my understanding, that they are gonna be, they're snowbirds, so that.
We got a shut off request for their water and it says snowbirds, so they're off to Arizona or someplace warmer for a while.
Is there any way we could, other contact means before we put a lien on it and fix it?
If it says Snowbird, don't we have a forwarding address in the system for them?
That's what, I haven't gotten to the point of being able to look, that request just came in, I think it was yesterday.
Okay, well, we can work together.
Yeah, that'd be great. My hope would be if we could try to contact them first before going off on a legal route and having them come back, like, you guys never tried to contact us or whatever. Even though I know we tried, but if we could try to reach them down at whatever their winter address would be. Thank you. And yes, I'm looking forward, because I know I should get a notice, at least with one of my friends. Okay, anything else for Public Works before we move on? Councilman Noble? Just checking. Okay, now let's move on. Let's move on to discussion regarding approval of Rocky Sherwood's Barnsey Park use application for the 2022 October Harbor Festival and Dance event on Saturday, October 15th. Contingent upon police chief approval of the parade route. I think we just actually talked about that. I think we're going to strip the parade out for now.
The dance actually got added. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't need to put dance in there, so.
It's not going to be a dance party. Dance
It was just banned. Oh, and I wanted to let people know. You guys all know that, I've been working diligently with the community through the pandemic, doing all gave Hubbard their first Christmas parade, and we've been doing a lot of big things with people outside the community, like the truck driver comes all the way from Little Nine. And as Amazon driver, I'm very pleased to announce that one of my customers is in charge of the fighter wing with the F-15s, so he's going to send 4 F-15s over our Harvest Festival and do a mini air show above our Harvest Festival. So, and then park their jets over in Aurora and then van over, and then the guys will be in their suits mingling with the kids. So
exciting.
So having 4 F-15s flying over, doing a mini air show over Hubbard. He said anything from my favorite Amazon delivery driver. The only thing that'll slow that down is that they're booked up on a mission in Washington, or if they're in the hangar getting work on. But his name is Conklin. He's the PA for the fighter wing. And so he's real happy with my services, and I've been bragging about our community and what I do, and about the Harvest Festival. He said, you ever had any flyovers in your community? I'm like, I heard an old plane, but have you had any like fighter jets ever fly over? I'm like, think you'd be the first. He said, well, I'm in charge of that wing, so I'll see what I can do.
I think we used to have some sometimes on the Veterans Day event.
We did, this year we couldn't get one because of logistics, but we've had it in the past.
And I'm also pleased to announce that, as of today, got a gentleman that did, some stuff in Jervis. He played music, he volunteered his time. It's Skiro, Reyes. He's gonna play music for us 2 to 5. So we're gonna be able to focus on all our community members, where nobody's gonna feel left out. We're gonna have all groups of music, we're gonna have 2 Latino food trucks, Woodcrest Fire Pizza, TMK Creamery, and, Rock and Latte will be back, and Le Petit, she's going to have a booth there, Annie Schultz. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited about our partnership with the Hubbard Inn and Conti Construction. They came forward and sponsored Copper Ridge Band, so. And guys, honestly, the reason why I'm asking for the waiver of the application for the promotion fee, money's tight, putting a lot of money and time into these events, and our morale in our community's down. As I spoke to you confidential about the stuff that I've been getting of community, because I did a community weekly thing. I keep up with the people in the community that's going through sad times. I've actually had 15 people from my Facebook requests reach out to me, talking about ending their lives and saying that they feel like their life is not worth living. And I was like, just hang in there. We got the Harvest Festival coming up. And they said, oh, you're doing that? I'm so happy, because you know what? Your Christmas events and toy drives really gave us something to look forward to. And I said, well, don't worry, we're still gonna be around. So I'm really just saying all these things, events. I don't put it on for my pleasure. I put it on because I believe these events, and they build up our community, and they give the community something worth living, and it brings people together. And bringing these the different kind of like the Latino music and the Copper Ridge music together, that's gonna attract all of our community members, where it's good to, it's gonna bring everybody on one level. You know, it's gonna witness and minister to everybody in our community, where everybody will feel that, you know, that we care.
The only thing I would ask is you make sure you work with Vicky. We haven't approved yet, but she needs to make sure all the permits are in by October 11th. Is that
I
correct?
filled out the application, right?
So each one of your vendors needs to come.
Yeah. I told them by October 11th that I had those turned in,
Yes, okay,
or they won't be able to be in there.
good. I just want to make sure that's super clear. That's all. Okay. Beyond that, my personal opinion, you put a lot of work into this event. I'm sorry we can't support the parade. But I think from the police department, or even Public Works, there's no concerns on the actual event itself, is there?
We haven't had no issues, and we had a lot of crowd at Harvest Festival last year. You were there. We had over 1,000 people, not one issue.
It was a good event. It was a good event.
And it brings and we're gonna have Jervis and Woodburn come in, and we started a good relationship with Jervis with the Hot Festival, and you guys went to 4th of July. And so I think something beautiful has happened in between the Jervis community and Hubbard, and I like to see that grow even stronger, because you know what, they got great leaders, just like we have great leaders, and they need help and we need help. So I think establishing that relationship with these two.
Exactly. I think Sergeant Anderson had a comment. Do you have a comment?
I just want to say that the Harvest Fest was a great, huge success last year. And the timing was really good. I mean, that time of year, it's time for something to happen. And I think this community is just a great event. But keeping it at the park, being there, I mean, that's what makes it work.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good event.
That's why I think Barnes is gonna be home for the Harvest Festival. I think it's great. Community people complaining because of noise, but they can complain. They complain about the fireworks. It's only one day a year, so.
So going through this, striking out the parade route discussion on that, Councilor Brentsville, any concerns from you?
No, I'm done.
Councilor Rogers? I have no concerns. Okay, so on this one here, it's a discussion regarding approval, so Director Noel, just.
So these So you need to approve the park use application and also the outdoor entertainment permit request to waive that $20 fee.
Okay, let me see if I can speak to this properly and not screw it up then. I would like to make a motion that we approve Rocky Shore Woods Park use permit for the outdoor entertainment for the 2022 October harvest event on Sunday, October 15th, and waive the $20 single event fee. Did I miss something on that? Okay, so there's no motion. Second, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay.
Thank you guys.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
And
Well,
thank you for
everybody
the-
that's out there, pray hard that they're not busy and they still up. That'd be so awesome with the community, I think.
Also, I also appreciate working with Vicky as you've been doing, sorry, administrative.
And I'm sorry, she's teaching me some stuff that some people are leaving out. It's kind of, and it's nice because, you know what, I didn't know until he told me to get in contact. I'm a new country boy putting on events, and sometimes I get excited and I'm going through proper channels, but then since they put me in Public Works, I've been always staying in the loop, and then they tell Vicky's educate me in some areas too, and so now I know everything for next year, and so hopefully everything's gonna go smooth.
Excellent, thank you, Rocky.
Thank you guys for all your support.
Okay, let's move on to the consent agenda. I'll go ahead and read the topics. Consent agenda, topic A, approval of the June 14th, 2022 City Council meeting minutes. B, approval of the July 2022 and August 2022 check register reports. Resolution 735-2022, a resolution adopting a job description for administrative support assistant. D, 739-2022, a resolution amending resolution 668-2019, City of Hubbard policies for the City of Hubbard, adding section 7.03.03 longevity pay.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
I second
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, consent agenda passes unanimously. Now, Vicky, real quick before we move on, is that going to cover the blue table that adds the administrative assistants?
No, you'll need to adopt the resolution 740-2022 with the exhibits that are in the blue. That adds only the administrative assistant part-time salary.
Okay. Before we move on to a motion and or a second on that, is there any questions from council on what is being discussed there? Because what we're looking for is we don't have a line item to show how much the administrative assistant is going to get paid. So in our council packet, there should be near the back a blue table.
All of those are in blue would go with the resolution 740.
Yes. It would look like this one right here. And you will notice a line item that is in red with the administrative support assistant part-time and the wages. So we have a description, but we do not have a pay scale for this individual. So the overall number 7 topic will be postponed until October for Councilor Thomas and Councilor Donnelly to be able to chime in on the greater COLA discussion. All we will look at this evening is to approve the table that will allow us to post a salary for the administrative assistant. Does that make sense, Councilor Rogers? Councilor, okay. So let me see if I can get a motion here without butchering it. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 74022. Does this table actually have a name? Exhibit?
They're exhibit A with the blue
Okay.
highlights.
So I would like to make a motion to approve resolution number 7402022. Exhibit A, the blue table with the highlighted red section covering the administrative support assistant part-time wages, and repealing resolution number 73202. Well, I don't, hold on. I don't want to repeal that though, because this is going to be an amendment.
So it's the exact everything is exactly the same on 7/3/7/2022 with the addition of administrative support assistant. So
So really, the motion here needs to be adding 7422 blue section, blue table to 737.
You're replacing.
Are we replacing the whole thing?
you're replacing the whole
Yep.
resolution, that whole resolution will be gone. This one replaces it.
All right, I just want to make sure that we're not like,
You're not doing anything with any of the other colors.
okay, thank you. Okay, then let's go back and try this one more time. I would like to make a motion to approve resolution number 7402022, Exhibit A, highlighted blue table with the administrative support assistant's salary, a resolution for compensation ranges for represented employees and amending non-represented employees and repealing resolution number 7372022. Did I butcher that? Okay, all right.
I second that part.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those that approve, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Okay, I think we got that one done. It's probably one of the most complicated resolutions I've had to figure out, minus the hearsay or whatever that is as said, or, oh, that's easy. Okay, the continued discussion regarding compensation for non-represented employees, though, the remaining topic for the COLA increase adjustments will go into the October. Okay, with that, number 8, any other city business? There is no other city business. The next agenda topic is adjournment.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Second, we have a motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, our September 2022 city council meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you all for attending.
You are looking forward to October.
So my question is, so did we do September and October meeting tonight? Because you kept saying October. So
I
we
know,
not-
I
not
know.
meet till November next?
I have to go home and have a stiff drink. Now I am, yes.
Did you guys hear that? Drinks at Mayor's house.